Popular Survivor content on DBD YouTube is kinda lame. Well, maybe lame is the wrong word. It can be fun to watch, but it's all very similar. Whether you're watching Aaron, JRM, Swee, Swe, Skirms, Namedi, or any other Noob 3 clone, I can almost guarantee it will feature 1 to 2 games, an obviously inexperienced killer, flashy tech gameplay, ADHD editing in the form of constant zooms and sound effects, and a thumbnail purchased from the Survivor Thumbnail Emporium. And this is what it is. I already made fun of all this stuff a long time ago, so I'm not here just to complain. But if you're actually trying to learn something about playing Survivor, most of this content won't help you. It's fun to watch someone 360 a baby killer 4 times in a row, but like, what am I supposed to do with this in my own games? It feels like if I wanted to improve at basketball, but could only study footage from the Harlem Globetrotters. So you say to yourself, let's look for something more educational and search for looping guides and tips. These are definitely better for improving, telling you to hug structures tightly or maybe explaining jungle gym pathing or check spots, but honestly a lot to remember, especially with so many new maps, tiles, and main buildings. Add to that the general stress of chase, the fact that teammates might have already used a pallet, bad tile RNG, bad killer ping, or bad teammates, and sometimes this stuff doesn't even feel helpful at all. Okay, I gained an extra 5 seconds in chase by hugging this loop tightly. Now what? Even after watching a lot of these guides, it still feels like only hours on hours of experience will actually help me improve. And as far as watching competitive DBD or 1v1s to learn Survivor, it might as well be a completely different game. If I pre-dropped this many pallets in solo queue, I would be dead with 3 gens left and get death threats from my team afterward. Meanwhile, searching out killer guides will lead you to a ton of knowledge, gameplay, and tips and tricks for any killer you need. And since being the chaser is a lot more intuitive than being the chasee, it's a lot easier to improve quickly. And I think this is a big part of why most survivors in DBD, including myself, are just straight up kind of bad at the game. So now if you are like me, who doesn't really have the time or the incentive to join a 1v1 ladder or explore map variations with an AFK friend, or practice juke muscle memory, or just accrue the hours needed in public matches to know every loop on every map, you're kinda out of luck when it comes to actually learning Survivor. I used to watch Cope, who posted a lot of non-ADHD edited gameplay of smart looping instead of flashy tricks, as well as being the best survivor in Otza's 1v1s, but they don't make DBD content anymore. There's Fun Goose, who can talk a mile a minute explaining their actions, but they're really more focused on killer lately. There's Steve, who's crazy good in 1v1s and in public lobbies, but unless I'm watching their stream constantly, I'm not gonna learn much from here. But I have good news. I've finally found my Dream Survivor YouTube channel, by the name of Mr. Taterhead. Now why is this channel so good? What does it offer? Well, first of all, we got in-depth map explanations. He explains every single loop and main structure and how they can spawn and how to run it every which way for almost every common map. But does it actually work in real games? Absolutely. After each explanation, he shows multiple chases he's had using that exact setup or iterations of it that spawn, which really helps you understand how the loops function when facing multiple different killers. Is he a flashy juke master, doing things I would never bother to practice? Not really, he's got some fakes and tricks, but he makes just as many mistakes. Truly a man of the people. Most of his looping skill is based on game knowledge, and he's willing to share it with you. Pallet pre-dropper? Absolutely not. This is maybe the greediest looper I've ever seen, and it's hilarious. Toxic? Not at all. He laughs it off whenever things don't go his way.
No!
Clickbait builds? Hell no. This Giga Chad hasn't even used a perk since 2020. So when he juices you for 5 gens, you really have no excuses. Except Old Reliable, of course, if the game is broken and unfair. That one always works. And finally, a big point here that most Survivor YouTubers don't do. He's realistic about the game. Chases are meant to be lost eventually. The goal that you should aim for is giving your team as much time as possible, not running the killer for 5 gens like you saw your favorite YouTuber do. Bloodlust, chase perks, killer powers are not unfair free win mechanics, they're part of the game to make sure you eventually go down. I really think if more survivors understood this and stopped looking at the game like a 1v1, we would have a lot less angry endgame chats. Now I know 2-hour map guides aren't for everyone. And I know YouTube rewards fast editing, short form content, and entertainment value over education value, which is why it took me a weird combination of search keywords to finally find this channel. And I get that content is fun to watch, so please don't feel the need to defend your favorite creator in the comments. But this info right here is so unbelievably helpful and well put together, and has helped me more than any other Survivor guide I've seen since I started this game, that I just had to share it with my audience as well. In Mr. Taterhead's own words.
This is why I want to make map guides, because this shit is easy as hell.
So if this video seems like just a giant advertisement for another channel, that's because it's exactly what it is. If you want to actually learn to get much better at Survivor, and probably Killer too, then please head over and give this channel some love, and share it with your other friends that want more in-depth guides, or that just suck and you need them to be better. At least watch how to run the main buildings and tiles of maps you struggle at, like Larry's or RPD, since he breaks down everything into YouTube chapters for you to easily skim around. And if you're not going to do any of that, you can at least appreciate this man's tap dancing right now.